And then Archmage Rafaam, 9 mana 9/9, Battlecry, transform all minions that aren't Rafaam into 1/1 sheep. Very, very cool. I like that some of these...
But no, you didn't say the most important part, which is that the sheep is named Rafaam.
That's true, yes. and has special art. Yeah, it's
is a mummy. Yes, it
quite
is
good.
Delightful.
Welcome to episode 520 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, in the evening. Coming to you from Nomergon, Ohio, it's me, Edelweiss. From North Rand, Massachusetts, we have Wicked Good.
Hi.
From Teldrassil, California, we have Nagasa.
Hello.
And from all around the world, we have you, dear listeners. This week's episode is brought to you by our producers, Number Theory, Kresh, Beef Squatch, David P., Jeremy T., Bottlecaps, Grumpy Monk, The Burger Club, Kirk Regan, May, NY Kiwi, Spine, Proby1, and by our patrons of the week, Jolt C. and Swarm Tides. You can go to patreon.com/CoinConcede to get perks like a thank you at the top of the show, bonus post-show content, early access to new episodes, one-on-one coaching sessions, and help support the show in the process. If you would like to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast feed of choice. As it always helps other people find the show. So, Life and Ladder, I beat Ghost of Yote. Really, really good. I have not yet beaten the hardest side quest boss. Takizo the something like undefeated or aptly named. Fights with a pair of swords. Probably is a Musashi Miyamoto parallel or something there. Yeah, really, really hard. And the final boss was very hard. Partially because you get there and you've had all your resources drained from destroying his entire base. So there's kind of a cheesy sidestep around that, which you can say, okay, I give up for now, but you can always resume later. And then you're like, all right, let me go get some rest to recover my spirit and buy a couple bottles of sake, which also helps recover spirit. Because,
both in real life and in the game, apparently.
Acquired taste. So, it did that. And eventually I had to go, okay, I'm going to keep everything else on hard difficulty because amazing thing about Ghost of Yote, you can customize it for exactly the experience you want. So I kept everything, all the settings on hard, and then I set the parry timings to easy because it was still challenging. I don't know why, but I feel like I had an easier time parrying in Sekiro than for this game. And the only thing
Did you have a problem in Ghost of Tsushima?
I think a little bit, but I feel like they made them narrower in this one. I could be wrong. At least on hard difficulty, because I had everything that boosts the parry window, all the items and armor you can get equipped that helps with that, and I was like, I can't nail these. What is happening? And since all the boss fights, you really can't use your ninja tools super effectively. Like there's a couple that you kind of can, but like they'll parry any kunai you use. They'll knock aside your flintlock shots because that's a thing. So yeah, it's like smoke bombs and throwing dust in their face is what you've got in terms of tricks. And I still could not get these parries. And I think for me the problem is they have a glint. There will be a blue glint to say you can't block this, but you can parry it, and a red glint that says you must dodge. It is not, however, an indicator of as soon as you see the glint, try and parry. Right? It is just the glint tells you what's coming, and then you must still be watching the actual weapon or attack or whatever that's going to hit you to try and block it. And the other thing is, it takes some time for Atsu to raise her guard for whatever weapon she is using, right? So it's like you see the glint, you've got to have your brain tell you like what what you should do, dodge or try and parry, and then you need to watch for where the weapon's going and know how long it's going to take for you to raise your guard and actually parry the attack. And I think the combination of all these things is just like it short circuits my like, when do I actually do this? Because different enemies have different speed of attacks.
How dare
It
they?
sounds like it sounds like being a baseball player and like you have to judge what the pitch is in like milliseconds because it's going to take time for you to raise your arm.
Yeah.
I mean, not like, but like to like swing and where are you?
That's why change-ups are a thing, right? Because like I'm throwing these 90-mile-an-hour pitches, and suddenly one of them is 70 or 80. Yeah. So I really think the glint is part of the problem for me, because I just want to go, oh, I see a thing. This means parry now. And because I'm like looking out for the glint to what to do, I end up messing the timing up. But I did finally, after like 2 hours, which was not what I was expecting for a not from soft game, beat the final boss. Yeah, very fun game. I don't know, people say it's a predictable story, but I just am not good at predicting stories, so it's a lot of fun. I got to enjoy the twists and turns, and it is like not exactly open world. It's like it's big enough to explore, but small enough that you're not just like doing a bunch of randomly generated content all the time, right? It's like I finished the game. I did all the quests except for that one side quest that at some point I'll go back to try and beat that boss. And now I can be like, that was a good game. I completed everything and be done, rather than my brother's been telling me about, he's playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and he's like, yeah, there's some content that just like keeps getting generated, and like you could just keep doing it sort of forever. Like, that sounds terrible for me. Yeah, good game. I think I put like a little over 70 hours, which is not.
It sounds like you got your money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
Now you're free to play Trails in the Sky now that you finished that.
Well, now we've got an expansion coming out. So
yeah, I guess.
This is my pattern, right? I no life a game until new cards come out, and then I play a lot of Hearthstone. I guess I do have a little bit of time.
This is the best time to take a break.
Yeah.
I've been kind of taking a break too this week, just because like I got to Legend last week, and then I've just been. We've played these decks. Like, I'm good. Like, it's a good time to take a break, just because we know that we're gonna have a pre-release brawl in a week, and then I'll usually enjoy those, and then we'll have a new set, and we'll see how that goes. I did other things. I got to platinum and not platinum, to emerald in TFT the other night. So, which is something that is not going to progress once the new expansion comes out. So, I figured I'd get that time in now, because those games take a while. And there was a local game store that closed near me, so I went over there on Friday to see if they were having a sale. They weren't, but I figured, okay, maybe I'll see if there's any any stuff that I want, help them unload whatever inventory they're going to unload. I guess they're probably just going to go online, because I don't know why you wouldn't be trying to clear some of the stuff out, but whatever. But I went in there, and it's like I don't go there often for reasons, and like there's been like a chunk of the floor that's been like a floorboard that's been missing like since they moved in, and they haven't fixed it. Like, I look for it every time just to see, hey, maybe they fixed the floor. No, they haven't. Like, and I get in there, I'm looking through the case, like there's boxes of bulk on top of the case, so I can't see half the cards, whatever. And and I'm in there, and there's like one commander game going on in the back, and there's like, so it's a couple tables away from where I'm standing, and like all I hear is one person at the table who is like the stereotypical like worst commander player ever. Like I hear like, I'm telling you, this is a teaching thing. I'm like, oh, this will be good. Like, It's like, he's the threat and he's threatening you, and I'm playing this and you just blew this thing up for me and that's not threatening you, and he's gonna kill you, and you're looking at my stuff, and this goes on for a while. Like I finish looking at the cards in the case, I go over to the bulk boxes, I start flipping through them. This is still going. Like a good several minutes of this just tirade. And then it finally stops when there are a couple of other customers who are wandering in. And then it finally stops when I hear, oh, hang on, I got to go help them out. It was the owner.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, so many things make sense now. Like, just everything makes sense. So, I didn't feel, I got like $4 worth of stuff out of the bulk boxes, and I was fine. That was pretty much, they had no packs left. Like, somebody cleared them all of like the one set that I might have bought some stuff from. And like, there was nothing really left. And I'm like, fine. That's probably better off that, I'm not spending my money here. So it's always sad when a game store closes, but he said, he sounded like he was just like, no, I just don't want to do it. Like, good. Okay, fine. Like, if that's the environment you're you're encouraging, maybe it's for everybody's benefit that, we're not doing that anymore. But yeah. Well, what about you, Magesa?
Well, I've been pretty busy with school things. It was parent-teacher conferences this week. There's just lots of things to keep up on. But I did hit Legend finally. I can't remember if that happened right before or after last week's show. But I hit Legend with my security blanket Protoss Priest. And then I kept getting quests that like wanted me to play a bunch of coins or like, play 3 games of Rogue. So I was like, all right, I'll play some Firewreck Rogue. I'll clear these quests. I somehow, whatever spirit allowed me to do really well in Firewreck Rogue has just deserted me. I just like cannot win a game with Firewreck Rogue. And then I'll go back and I'll win back the ranks with Protoss Priest. Like I've played enough of that deck now. I know it inside and out. I can figure out when I'm just trying to smart them and when I'm just trying to get as many sentries as possible and what to copy with Hallucinate and all that stuff. So it's not the most exciting in that I'm not like learning a new deck, but it's kind of fun in that like I can feel the mastery of it. I don't win every game still, of course. But yeah, then I keep being like, well, I should play something different. No. So maybe the luck will continue with Protoss Priest and I can get 11x for next month, but I'm also not going to hold my breath on that. But mostly what I've been doing Hearthstone related is just deck building for theory crafting, which as we're recording this is tomorrow. And I have put in between me and Wicked and other people in the Discord who's I've been poaching with their permission. There's like 20 in here or something, at least. And we haven't even gotten Edels yet. So
we usually end up crowdsourcing a good number of decks to be able to mess around with on theory crafting. So yeah, I'm not super surprised.
That is always fun. And there's more that I have my eye on in the Discord that I haven't put in yet. So we'll be spoiled for choice. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. You can't try sort of everything as easily and with the 10 new cards restriction, but I do like that it showcases new stuff. And there's sometimes things where it's like, well, if this is ever going to work, it feels like theory crafting is where it might work. So we're going to give it a try. We decided to record the day before theory crafting instead of the day after theory crafting because we still have 3 classes to talk about that we haven't talked about. And then we will definitely talk. And we can sort of preview what we want to do for theory crafting. Next week, there'll be a lot of theory crafting and pre-release where I'll talk. Also happening because I like absolutely 100% cannot record on Friday this week. So
we have talked at length about how much of a miracle it is that we can get ourselves to record on any non-standard night, and we will do what we can do. And honestly, like we're gonna do a fair amount of vibing just about like theory crafting and pre-release Brawl decks next week, so it kind of makes sense to not do that for 2 weeks in a row. But yeah, we do have a little bit of news, and then we will talk about the last few classes and wrap that up so that we will have a clear deck for theory crafting. But yes, so let's talk about the news.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
Okay, so we have one piece of in-game news and then one piece of out-of-game news. The in-game news that we have is we got an announcement about the upcoming Across the Timeways community events. We've referenced theory crafting several times already. Those streams are Thursday, October 23rd. If you are listening to the podcast, that is in the past, which is, I guess, appropriate for a time travel set. If you are watching us live, that is in the future. So be sure to set your alerts and whatnot. Edel will be doing theory casting once again. That'll be on the main channel. We will actually be on Megasa's channel, not mine, because I have something in the evening. I'm going to have to get there a little late. So Megasa's going to be solo for the beginning, and then I'll join as soon as I get home. Twitch.tv/MegasaHS. So do be sure to follow now if you are watching the stream so that you can go over and keep her company until I get there. The usual rules apply. 10 at least 10 Across the Timeways cards in their decks. That is a lot easier with Fabled, because all the cards from the Fabled count, and one of them really super counts. We'll talk about that in a minute. And there will be Twitch drops enabled, so you will be able to earn up to 2 Across the Timeways packs, assuming that your Twitch and Battle.net accounts are linked. So make sure that you have that set up ahead of time. The pre-release Tavern Brawl will be starting on Tuesday, October 28th, and running through November 4th, which is when the set releases. So you will be able to build a deck from only the packs that you have either pre-ordered or won as part of the Tavern Brawl rewards, from the core set, event set, Lost City of Ungoro, and Across the Timeways. Dive the Galaka Depths, which is the Murloc quest, will be banned and good, because that would be the only deck we would see if it wasn't. So, if you were planning on just pub stomping people with Murloc with Quest Paladin, think again. Everyone will get 1 entry for free. After that, it'll cost you 2 tavern tickets, 300 gold, or 400 runestones. And you will play until you get 6 wins or 3 losses. If you do get 6 wins, you will get 4 Across the Timeways packs, 1 Across the Timeways common, and 1 Across the Timeways rare. 3 Across the Timeways packs and 1 Lost City of Ungoro pack for 5 wins, along with the common and rare. And it goes down from there. But generally, if you're paying 300 gold, you want to get 4 wins, because that's where you get 3 Across the Timeways packs. So you technically break even with 3 wins, but you're getting 2 Across the Timeways packs and 1 Lost City of Ungoro packs. So 4 wins is kind of going quote unquote infinite in this Tavern Brawl. So, plan accordingly. There is an update on Rewind. So there's a very long dev update, and they are acknowledging the speed of the effect. And realistically, the issue with it is that so what they say is when Rewind is activated, a sand veil covers the screen, not just for visual effect, but to allow the entire game state to reload, which naturally takes a bit of time. Our first mock-up of Rewind lasted a whopping 12 seconds, which sounds like forever. And through development, we discovered efficiencies that helped us trim it down to the version you see today. The updates to Rewind in this patch should make the effect feel a little snappier. We're continuing to explore further improvements to the Rewind effect, and if they prove them successful, we plan to roll them out later in the patch cycle. In the meantime, we're making a small adjustment by removing 1 Rewind from Master Clocksworth. While this will slightly lower his power level, we believe it will lead to a smoother and more enjoyable experience for everyone. Thank you for your continued patience and support as we work to make Rewind the best it can be. Until next time. Yeah, so Master Clocksworth will go from Rewind, Battlecry Summon to random legendary minions, is now just Rewind, Battlecry Summon to random legendary minion. I've seen Master Clockwork take an entire turn, so that change kind of makes sense. And this is realistically what they're doing behind the scenes just is not the kind of thing that you can do immediately. And part of this may be, if they had designed more for this up front, it's possible, like, again, 10 plus years ago, then it's possible that this could be faster. But this is what happens when you try to do cool new things on a pretty old code base that sometimes you got to work with the way that it works, and you can make some small changes around the edges, but you're not going to be able to get it like to a 2x improvement. So
yeah, it seems if you're not someone who does software development, like undoing stuff, how hard could that be? The answer is pretty hard, especially if you didn't plan for it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, anything that you're doing that you didn't plan for from the very beginning is kind of a hack, and then you just kind of build hacks upon hacks upon hacks. And I've often described software development as just especially like an old code base, as like a late stage Jenga game, where you're taking things from the bottom and putting them on the top and hoping everything doesn't fall over in the process. But in the meantime, it's very wobbly, and you have to be very careful where you put it, or else bad things will happen. So we also have community days coming up October 28th to November 1st. So you'll be able to get up to 10 packs just for watching Hearthstone streams. Again, assuming you have your Battle.net and Twitch accounts linked. So you'll be able to get, the first drop will be 3 Into the Emerald Dream packs. The second drop will be 3 Lost City of Ungoro packs. The third drop will be 4 Across the Timeways packs, and that's 2 hours per drop. So just find a stream that you like and leave it on. We are not going to have a community stream for Concede this time around. It just, our schedules were not working out for it, but there are plenty of good Hearthstone streamers, and just pick your favorite and put them on, and you'll get that sooner or later. So just remember, again, do make sure that you have your accounts linked and that you're signed in, and you'll be good.
Hopefully we'll be able to do some day one stuff. We don't know exactly yet, but stay tuned.
Yeah. It's unfortunately a pretty busy time of year for everybody, so it's we're trying to make schedules work, and it's hard. But and also it's your last chance to pre-purchase the set. So if you are waiting, I mean, wait to see if you win a bundle from somebody, but then don't forget to do it. So that is the in-game news. The out-of-game news, which was kind of a surprise, is some rare good news on the actual working conditions front, which is that Team 5 has voted to unionize. So Microsoft's neutrality agreement with the Communications Workers of America expired, and that apparently has allowed there's 2 new units of CWA Local 9510, and 100 workers voted yes in Team 5 to representation with the CWA to form a union. So that's a really great thing, especially with all the layoffs that have been happening at Microsoft, and just the realities of game development. Having any sort of security there seems like a really good thing, and anything that can make working at Team 5 a more stable environment is really only can be a good thing. So that's there's not really much to say about it other than we're really happy for them, and hopefully this will work out and lead to better working conditions for them long term.
Yeah, like there is hardly any, by comparison, like unions in tech when you compare to like a lot of manufacturing, right? I think there's just this whole superiority is not the right word, but I feel like there was a thought that like, oh, tech, you're getting paid big money, you guys don't need unions, right? Like, and I think that has increasingly not always been the case. And yeah, in general, we're very pro union here.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Yeah. And apparently the neutrality agreement with Microsoft towards the unions expiring was what motivated them to get this done quickly before that expired, because out of fear that it could be harder to form a union after that.
I mean, I think they immediately started union busting stuff, right?
I haven't heard, but I would not be surprised at all. So, I mean, you hear about a lot of that stuff happening pretty much at every big tech company when this stuff starts to happen.
Yeah, according to this article that we have linked, I don't know anything about it besides what was here in terms, but it says several unions formed under Activision Blizzard before the neutrality agreement was signed, but they faced what the workers called union busting, attempts to shut down union efforts. Since the signing, workers have voted to unionize across the company. There are at least 7 separate union groups at Blizzard Entertainment.
To be clear, union busting is illegal, but like it happens.
Well, yeah, but it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to that they can do it and kind of be sly about it. So we're very happy for our friends at Team 5, and hopefully this will help them be able to focus on making the game and not on any of the other stuff that goes around working for a giant mega corporation. So good.
Yeah.
Congrats to them, and only hope that this leads to good things for them.
People tend to make the best work when they feel safe and secure in their position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. It is not an easy industry to be in.
So that's it for news. So we do have 3 more classes of cards to talk about. So let's do that.
All right, so the 3 classes we have to talk about are Warrior, Mage, and Warlock. And we will start with Warrior. So Warrior got this theme around like gladiators. We'll start as usual with the Fabled, even though I think that's probably not what's going to see the most play out of this. But our Fabled character is Logash Blood Fighter. So Logash, I'm not a super big World of Warcraft person, but he's like the fighting spirit of Varian Rin, which is Anduin's father. Like Lady Prester is actually Onyxia in disguise, and she somehow managed to split Varian, I think by accident, into Logash and a different character, and Logash is like his fighting spirit. And in this like alternate reality that we have through the Timeways, Logash became like a gladiator in the Crimson Ring. The flavor text says, in the Crimson Ring, they call him Logash the Ghost Wolf. He's forgotten the time when he was called by another name, Varian Ring, King of Stormwind. So, Logash is a 7-mana 7/7, Fabled, Rush, Death Rattle, summon a Blood Fighter from your hand. It gains +5/+5 and attacks a random enemy. So, Logash is himself a Blood Fighter, and the other 2 Fabled cards that come with him are also Blood Fighters. So, there is Brawl, Blood Fighter, also a 7-mana 7/7 with Taunt, and Death Rattle, summon a Blood Fighter from your hand, give it +5/+5 and Taunt. And then Valera, Blood Fighter, is a 7-mana 7/7 with Elusive. Death Rattle, summon a Blood Fighter from your hand, give it +5/+5 and Elusive. So if you get one of these down, and then they die, they'll sort of keep coming out of your hand if you have them in your hand when they die.
Yeah. Assuming you've drawn them. So you're going to be very motivated to draw them before you play one of them.
Yes. So you can, and this is relevant for this set, you can have some in your hand and recruit one of them out into the board because it is a Death Rattle. And we do have we do have a recruit effect in this set, which is Gladiatorial Combat. 5-mana spell, summon a random minion from your deck, summon a 5/5 tiger with stealth for your opponent. So you could recruit one of the Blood Fighters when you already have another Blood Fighter, or ideally 2 in your hand, and then you can start that chain going. You could also just recruit like Briar Spawn Drake or Draco Rex. Or Tortola, and
there's also no way to guarantee that you're going to hit one of the Blood Fighters with this, right? Just because, I mean, you would basically not be upset if you had one of the Blood Fighters in your hand and then you happen to tutor another one out. But there's no, unless you're only running those 3 in your deck, which I guess you could do, then you're not guaranteed to hit it if you're running any other minions in your deck.
This is something, you can also like Chem Spill part of either the Blood Fighters or other things that maybe you've put in there for gladiatorial combat. So now it's like, if it's in your hand, it's good because you can Chem Spell it. If it's in your deck, you can recruit it. But neither of those, like, Chem Spill will automatically go for the highest cost. Gladiatorial Combat, it's anything. So you can't like also have Hostile Invader, for example, in the deck. You have to use like Shell NATO or something else because you don't want to have that hit in there for Gladiatorial Combat. There's, in general, a theme of summoning things for your opponent with a lot of these cards because it's like a gladiatorial ring. So we have Unleash the Crocolists, 1 mana spell, gain 10 armor, summon 2/2/3 beasts for your opponent. And we have Undefeated Champion, 8 mana, 13/13 with Rush. Battlecry, fill your opponent's board with random 1-cost minions. This is, I think, part of what they were thinking about, like with Gladiatorial Combat, of like if you recruit him, then you just have a Rush 13/13 with no downside. But you could also Chem Spill him and have no downside. But we also have, Briar Spawn Drakes. So that's kind of where our theory crafting decisions have gone. If you do have like Undefeated Champion or some of these other things, summon minions for your opponent, you can take advantage of it with For Glory, which is a 5 mana spell that says draw 2 cards, costs 1 less for each minion your opponent controls.
That's just good. Like, that's going to be better than Arcane Intellect when you want to play it, like, a lot of the time. And if your opponent goes wide at all, then it's just, hey, I'm going to draw 2 cards for free. Like, that's fine. We just play that.
Yep. Yeah, really solid card. There's a few things where it's like maybe we can run a really like slimmed down minion wise quest warrior where it's like you're just focused on these defensive tools, pretty spell focused, and you just run the Bloodfighter package as like Logosh, the pair of like deal 3 damage, draw a minion that costs 5 or more, and it's like it's gonna hit Bloodfighters. Not do some of the other things we've been doing in Warrior because your win condition is accounted for in the quest, right? And running the Bloodfighters is just like if you've got all 3 of them in your hand, it's a huge pain to deal with because it's a chain of just like a bunch of big stuff, right? The first one's a 7/7, and like at least with how things have been, just playing one on 7 is fine, right? Like it's not crazy, and so if you can consistently like get all 3 of them in hand and then play the taunt first, right, and then ideally it pulls out Logosh himself next, so that you have a huge elusive hitting them in the face. You're not always going to be able to control that, but like that's just sort of because one of the ways you can be controlling is to just have something dangerous that needs to be dealt with that your opponent needs to spend resources on, and so that could be.
Yeah, and you also could just like Hydration Station to get the taunt back if you only have one of those in your hand, right? And then you get the taunt back, and then when you draw the other one, and then it can launch. I don't know if we're doing that, but you probably have to run a couple more minions for that. But I mean, not that many. Like you probably run Tortola anyway in that deck, just because why wouldn't you? And then really you're just looking for like what Ziliax. Like I think we're okay if we tutor either of those out also with gladiatorial combat. I think that's fine.
I wish there were a way to get more of these in hand, right?
Yeah.
That like I don't know if we've talked about the 13/13 yet. Undefeated Champion, which is an 8 mana 13/13 rush. Battle Cry is summon, fill your opponent's board with 1-cost minions. Very clearly intended to be recruited from Gladiatorial Combat or cheated out with deal 5 damage to it thing. I wish that this like counted, right? Like that's not considered a blood fighter. But if it were, then you could sort of put it in that same kind of deck and like know it's not a trigger the way the other ones are on Death Rattle. But if you could still like summon it from their Death Rattles, because right now there's no way to get more copies of the Blood Fighters in hand to like keep the chain going. So it's this weird sort of thing where you're encouraged to put them with this recruit effect, gladiatorial combat, but you really want the other ones in hand. But you're sort of encouraged to run a deck that wants to recruit big things in general, but that then interferes with getting specifically the Blood Fighters in hand. I don't know.
Yeah. And like you can do like mixologist things to get them back, but it doesn't do anything for you. It just gives you a 7/7.
Right.
If you've already gotten the rest of them out of your hand. So yeah, it is a little bit weird.
I mean, I think like you are usually going to have drawn at least one and have one in your deck, right? Like just in general, you're unlikely to have drawn. So the gladiatorial combat helps a lot with that. But if you're really going for the Blood Fighter specifically, then you kind of can't have other big targets for the gladiatorial combat, because then you're probably going to hit one of those instead of the Blood Fighters. Like if we really want to do this, well, then I think we want to have the gladiatorial combat and the precursory strike, which is the deal 3 damage if you're holding a minion that costs 5 or more, draw a minion, and like nothing else in your deck. I'll try building that. We also I have from El Terrace, who, in our Discord, a big warrior that has sort of the dragon package and the Blood Fighters. We'll see if that's too many.
Yeah. I mean, if we're doing if we're doing the dragon package, we're probably just doing Briar Spawn Drakes at that point, because like that's the dragon package.
He has so by the dragon package, I should specify, I don't mean the Fire one. In this case, I mean the Great Jacob Rex and 2 Briar Spawn Drakes. Yeah. And then Tortola, because it's Tortola, and you're also running Chemspell. So then maybe we're not running the Blood Fighters. That's my only question of like maybe it's better to just do a Briar Spawn Drake deck. And also Draco Rex is pretty good.
It's just like the weird thing about this is that you have to be able to tutor them somehow in order, like you need them all. Like this is the first one of these, or maybe not the first one, but the first one I can remember of these that we've seen, where you really need to have them all together at the same time. Like a lot of the rest of them have something around like the Druid one where you can still play the location. It's like you empower one location and blow and destroy the other one. And like if you've already played one out, then you're fine, right? Then you just destroy that one and then you empower the other one and you're still good. And you don't have to have drawn all of them at the same time. This is the first one really that it's like you need to have all 3 of them in hand at the same time really for it to work. Yeah. And there aren't any great ways to make that happen consistent.
Or like, so you can play the Tortolan Taunt thing in Druid, like if you tore into Druid, but then you have to have Ham in your deck. Like it makes gladiatorial combat work less well, but it would draw the Taunt one, which I think is Brawl, and you could like Paint Fin to get Logash, the Rush one, but then you're running more other things that draw minions don't work because you have more minions in your deck. Yeah. Trying to look and see if there's anything else that like you can't try to discover extra because you can't discover or in other ways generate fabled cards.
Yeah. Right. They don't have a minion type, so all you can eat doesn't work. They're only one of them has taunt, so the draw 2 taunts doesn't work. Like,
well, I mean, it helps.
It helps, but it's not really what you want at the end of the day. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it works in practice, but it is definitely a little bit weird as a package compared to how the other fabled cards kind of not necessarily work independently, but don't need to be played all together.
I mean, maybe 2 is enough.
It
right?
could be.
It
could be.
Like, if 2 is enough, that's not that unlikely. All 3 is pretty unlikely.
This could be like hey, it would be great if these leeches buffs were permanent for the rest of the game type of thing, and then we just learn that no, it doesn't need it. It's fine. So that could be 2, yeah.
Yeah, so there's also in Warrior kind of an enrage theme on a couple of these cards. We have specifically Heir of Hereafter, which is a 5-mana 2/6 dragon with taunt, Battlecry, again +2/+2 for each damage to minion. And I suppose that's the only one with Enrage, but we've been getting a trickle of Enrage-like cards in Warrior for a while. Like, we have a weapon that we just got from Lost City that after your hero attacks, deal 1 damage to all minions, for example. We have the Stone Carver, which like gets +2/+2 to a damaged minion. And some of the stuff, like the dragon stuff, we have Sanguine Depths and Core, like Undercover Cultist from Lost City and Neutrals, the Taunt Reborn has +3 attack while damaged. We have like pieces. I don't know whether it's a deck, but Era of Hereafter could get quite large. Like, it is a payoff for damaging things in a way that we haven't had a lot of reason to do in Enrage. Like, Stonecarver can be good if you get that down early and it starts snowballing, but otherwise it wasn't as much. Like, it wasn't enough on its own, unless you were specifically Enzo from our Discord. And so, but Era of
Enzo's like the Iron Chef of Warrior cards. Like, you could just give him, a secret ingredient and he'll make something work, so.
Exactly. He will always make something work. So I did put in the one that he posted for theory crafting, and we will give it a shot. It's an Enraged Dragon Warrior.
I believe that it will work for him.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll work for us. I don't think he knows whether it'll work for us, but it's I do want to give it a try. And I do think Era of Hereafter makes it more likely to work. So other cards here, slow motion, 2 mana. Your opponent's cards cost 1 more next turn.
Yep. Sure.
Yep.
Seems good.
Solid. Stadium Announcer is the rewind card, 4 mana, 3/3 dragon with rewind. Battlecry, both players equip a random weapon, give yours +1/+1. I don't really know why we're playing that, but
yeah. Okay.
And then we should mention the last legendary, which is Chrono Lord Epic. 6 mana, 7/5 dragon with Battlecry, destroy all minions that your opponent played last turn. Notice that is played, not summoned, but still.
It's good enough.
Yeah, still quite good, right? 6 mana, 7/5 with a creature type, which is relevant because you can draw it. You can tutor it more easily then. That blows up a board. Like, that feels really, really good to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just played Naralex into Firac? No, you didn't. Like, that's fine. Like, yeah, it's played, not summoned, but, like, that's generally okay. Like, a hunter just dropped a Huffer, a Leok, and a Misha off of whatever Friends Forever, whatever the hell the name of the card is. I don't pay attention to hunter card news. And then, okay, well, fine. They're dead now. Good. Go away. Like, that seems really good. I mean, it's not a full board clear, and it's something you can play around as the opponent, but it's also a really potent effect, and it's on a 7/5 body, which is not nothing either.
And honestly, if your opponent's playing around this too hard, like, then they're not playing their cards, and that's good for you too, right? Like,
yes,
they almost want to try to bait it out. I definitely had some games as Proteus Priest today that could have been just totally blown out by my opponent if they had this card, because I'll, drop a Mothership and then, like, 3 or 4 more discounted Protoss things from the Mothership, and then, like, a random Sentry. I had these, like, giant boards that almost all of the minions had been played that turn, so they could have just wiped. So this does seem solid. And it's a dragon, maybe we'll get a Dragon Warrior before all that stuff rotates, and this is a dragon. But even if you're not playing Dragon Warrior, you can tutor it with all you can eat. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but, like, it is cheap enough. Like, it's not cheap, but 6 mana is an amount that, like, you could do it in that sort of weird Dark Gift dragon thing that's like maybe almost there, and it would be reasonable. And, like, yeah, just getting a minion at the same time as blowing up your opponent's last turn, that's a lot of tempo.
That's the control dream, right? It's being able to develop and clear the board at the same time. Like, that's the dream. So, I mean, you're not actually clearing a lot of the time. Like, usually they're going to have some minions left over or whatever. If it's 6 mana, then you're probably not completely clearing, but you're clearing enough. You're getting rid of the scariest stuff.
Yeah, and I think there's plenty of times, right, where if you're control, well, you've got a bunch of clears, so you can save this for the time when it is good. And if you're playing something more aggressive, right, where times when you are pushing, you have control of the board, your opponent plays something defensive, and then you steamroll through it because you can just make it go away.
So all in all, I think I would be surprised if Warrior doesn't have something to do in the new set. It may or may not be Blood Fighters, but there's a lot of possibilities here, I think. Even if it's just like, we're adding some stuff to Quest Warrior. But we also have Mage to talk about. Wicked, you put this in blue, so why don't you tell us about Mage?
I don't think I had any thought to it other than that was the order that the colors were in last time, but I will be happy to talk about Mage. So Mage, I guess we'll start with the Fabled Legendary, which we always do. So that's Azure Queen Sindragosa, which is a 5-mana 2/8 dragon that says, if you control another dragon, your arcane spells cost 2 less. We had this effect on a minion named Vexilus that everybody thought was going to be an OTK deck, and it wasn't, but this is a little different. And then we have, also comes with Azure King Malygos, which is a 5-mana 2/8 dragon. This is what Vexilus was on. If you control another dragon, your arcane spells cast twice. Which is a very exciting sentence, but again, we've been very excited and very disappointed. The third card that goes along with them is an 8-mana spell called Azure Oathstone. Summon your dragons that died this game. So you kill off Sindragosa, you kill off Malygos, you play this, you get them both back, and then presumably you have 10 mana, or probably a little bit more, because you're probably also, you might be a dragon deck who's also just running Ysera, because why not? And then you start flinging spells at people's faces and hopefully killing them. I cooked up, I think you did too, Magesa, but I cooked up a theory craft of this that has enough spells that you can fit in with 10 mana that you can probably, not necessarily 30, but you can get to 28 pretty easily. And that's not even considering spell damage. So this seems like it's a doable OTK.
It's very important to note that there's also a dragon in this set that's just a common, Algathar Instructor, which is a 5-mana 4/7 dragon that says spell damage +2. And that will also get resurrected by the fabled spell Azure Oathstone. So if you've got Sindragosa, ideal scenario, you've got Sindragosa, Malygos, and a couple of Algathar Instructors, which you can also copy with like the Elise location, or buy one, get one freeze. If you want to be more likely to have multiple of these resurrecting, you can add spell damage with the 1-mana spell that either freezes.
Go with the flow. Yeah.
You have some options here. The build that I made used Skyla to get coins, mostly, and also you have the opportunity with Skyla to potentially make the Azure Oathstone free, which gives you a lot more mana to work with. The biggest problem that I found is that we don't have a lot of arcane spells that do damage in Mage.
Yeah.
Not none. I will say I found it easier to build this than trying to build the Medivh OTK. Although that's not necessarily saying that this will be more successful. I don't know. But if we look, the main one that we have is the 2-mana spell that gives you a Moonfire and a Starfire.
Yeah.
Stellar Balance.
Yeah. That's kind of enough.
Yeah.
Right? Because the fact that you are reducing the cost of your arcane spells by 2.
It's free. Yeah.
Right? It's free, exactly. And it gives you 2 Moonfires, which are already free, and, +1 spell damage for your trouble. Primordial Glyph is also free and gives you 2 Discovers.
Yeah.
I think...
I mean, just Stellar Balance with no spell damage. 2 Stellar Balances in your hand, just from the Moonfires, represents 16 damage, right? Because they've got spell damage +1 already. The Moonfires that are coming out of Stellar Balance, they deal 2 for 0. They
Mhm.
cast twice. So there's 4 of so that's 4. And then you get 4 of them with the 2 stellar balances. So that's 16 right there without having the spell damage dragons on board or anything, just with with Syndragosa and with Malygos.
Right. And probably, you're gonna wait until you've killed off 1 to 2 spell damage dragons. In which case, yeah. I mean, I think with 2 of them, right, with +4 spell damage, if you have the full suite, right, where you've got Syndragosa in there, you've got Malygos in there, you've got the pair of spell damage dragons, then each Moonfire is dealing 6, right? I think that's right.
Yeah, it should be.
Because it's 5 spell damage plus the 1 regular. And casting twice. So a single one of these things gives you the 2 Moonfires that cast twice. So that's 24 damage for that one spell.
And that's if we're not running. So we also did get Arcane Barrage in this set as well, which is also an arcane spell, which would cost 1 mana with the Syndragosa discount, or with the Malygos discount, which says deal 3 damage to an enemy. It's a 3 mana arcane spell. Deal 3 damage to an enemy and 2 damage to 2 other random ones. So you just point that at your opponent's face and let the splash damage go where it may. So that's 6 for each one of those. So again, that's if we've hoarded our stellar balances and our arcane barrages for the 8 mana spell, right? We've done 16 damage with Moonfires with no spell damage, and then 12 damage with arcane barrages, which is 28. Any instance of spell damage gets us over the top, and that is a 10 mana combo.
Yeah. Now, I have done something probably unnecessary, and like, look, this is it is a 10 mana combo that you do have to do a lot of prep in getting these dragons to die, right? Which makes it potentially disruptible.
You have to kind of draw your deck.
Well, you're not doing prep because we're in Mage, not Rogue.
Well,
but I mean, that's why I was looking for a high damage cap, because if we're facing a DK, we're not killing them quick.
Right. But if you make it an Elise deck, you can get even more spell damage or discount, right? Because you can, copy one of the spell damage dragons, so there's another one in the res pool. You can copy the discount so that you could potentially play Alter Time for free. That's a 4-cost arcane spell that says discover 2 arcane spells from the past. They cost 2 less. I have not looked at the pool, but
yeah, we can do that. And what's important for that is do not copy Malygos.
Right. Yes.
Malygos says twice. It does not say an additional time.
Yeah. So you won't get any extra
having 2
value
Malygoses or Malygis. We have to go back to copying Malygos. Malygis. Having 2 Malygis does not help. All it's doing is taking up board space.
So there's definitely some damage in the pool. There's also some transform in the pool. There's a decent number of secrets, which is not really what you want, but you're unlikely to get them all be like that. Most of it is fairly cheap, so most of it would be free, or at least like half of it. So there's some draw. I definitely put some altered times in. I made 2 versions of this deck, one with Elise and one without. Mm-hmm. So the one without Elise, I was thinking of buy one, get one free is how we can copy things if we need to get more damage because we're facing a Death Knight.
Sure.
In the Elise one, I was like, well, we can... I think I still had 1 buy one, get one freeze in there for right now, but it's probably unnecessary if we have Elise. But in that case, you are playing a little bit like you have more control tools to go for a little longer, whereas my non-Elise one was just like, I am trying to turbo draw this deck. I'm trying to get coins so I can play 5 drops sooner.
I have a not a ton of draw, which is maybe a mistake, but with like double Portal Vanguard.
I did that too.
Which is a dragon.
Actually, I think I just had 1, but because you don't want too many dragons to res and take up your board slots, but it does tutor a minion, which is good.
So you do have in this set, you do have Chronicle Keeper. We talked about this with the neutrals, right? Which is a 4 mana 3/6 if you're holding a dragon, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. So that's a pretty good control tool that is not a dragon itself. So, which is important for this because you don't want it taking up space. In my version, I ended up throwing in Fey Tricksters, which are the 3-mana 2/4 with Death Rattle, draw a spell that costs 5 or more. The only spell that costs 5 or more is the 8-cost spell in my version. Sleet Skaters tend to do a lot of work. That's still a card that's available to you. Tidepool Pupil also will get you copies of the spells if you need to use them for removal early. Which is probably going to be a thing that you're going to have to do. We still have Arcane Artificer to just gain armor when we're playing the spells. And I threw Caligos in also because why not? I don't know if that's really worth it or not, but also caricature artists, right? Which is Battlecry, draw a minion that costs 5 or more, it gets a funny mustache.
That's actually a quite good idea. I should probably have that instead of Portal Vanguard. Assuming I still meet the requirement.
And you can, and I also run 2 copies of Tide Pools, figuring that maybe we'll just get a couple more arcane spells out of it at some point. I mean, Tide Pools is just a good card in general that we'd probably want to run. And worst comes to worst, there's also Arcane Intellect, which is arcane if you need to dig for the damage spells with Malygos up.
That is actually true. Also, Violet Spellwing is a 1-mana 2/1 elemental beast with Death Rattle. Add an arcane missile spell to your hand.
Yeah, that's actually really good too. I mean, that's less good if they have a board because even with the spell damage, it's still just going to send that many missiles. But some of them will hit face, probably. Not mine, but yours might.
Yeah, I mean, you would definitely try to play your Arcane Barrages first if you have any, or you might try to use it on an early board. That's not your main plan, but it is a way to potentially get a little damage while also having something to play on one.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thought with that. But I think there's options here, just with the Fabled and the rest of the Dragon package. I don't know if it'll work or which direction is the most likely to work, but the fact that we can res them all on the same turn and the mana seems to check out of we could do enough damage to kill them more than it did in practice with Vexless. It's just is this gonna are you gonna die before you get there is really the question, I think.
Yeah. We also have Xavius, right? So that's another way to get one of the dragons out is just get Xavius. And then maybe you get Reborn on Syndragosa, right? That would actually be the dream, right? Because then you just get 2 of them.
Reborn or summon a 2/2 copy would both get you 2 in the res pool.
Either one would be good.
Yeah. I have taken out the rewind dragon tutor dude for the caricature artists and now feel pretty solid about this.
I might have to edit mine. Well, probably by the time we actually get into theory crafting, people from the earlier half will have already figured out a direction.
I'm relying on that, right? That people will have figured out the right way to build it, and we'll just adjust accordingly, like we always do, and stand on the shoulders of giants. But that's neither here nor there.
Although, to preemptively remind everyone, theory crafting is not the meta, and sometimes what seems good in theory crafting is not really what turns out to be the best. So
right. Yes. Yeah, there's a number of OTK things that I'm sure people will be trying, and might look really, really good. But there's also a number of aggressive decks that look pretty good, like the Shaman that we talked about last week. So just rounding out the rest of the Arcane and Dragon package. So you do have Mirror Dimension, which is a 1-mana spell, summon a 0/4 minion with taunt. If you're holding a dragon, summon another. So that's really just Mirror Image on steroids if you're playing a dragon deck, which we are in this case. So that's pretty good. Anomalize is probably not making it into the deck. It's a 7-mana arcane spell. Summon a random 10 and 1 cost minions, scramble their stats. This seems really good for Yogg in the box, but not necessarily for what we're trying to do with this particular package. We have Faceless Enigma is a 2-mana 2/2 with Battlecry to look at 2 random secrets. Pick 1 to cast for yourself, the other cast for your opponent. No. I don't know what I don't think we're I guess, but I don't really want to give my opponent a secret
because especially with a small pool of secret, like we didn't get any new secrets in Mage, and that pool is very small, and generally all of those are pretty impactful, especially for Mage. I guess they're random, so it's not just Mage secrets. You could get Hunter secrets also, but that still seems bad.
Yeah, a sort of astonishingly bad card.
Yeah. Yeah. We have
there's another one of those.
Yeah. Well, Temporal Construct is a 7-mana 5/5 with Battle Cry. Deal 5 damage to an enemy minion. Draw cards equal the excess damage. This could be
cost 5.
Yeah, it's 7 mana for 5/5 seems like a lot.
Well, and you only get a lot of card draw if you inefficiently use the damage. So I genuinely I don't know why this costs 7. So that you can kill a 1/1 and draw 4? Like,
I mean, theoretically you're killing a 3/3 and drawing 2, right? Like 7 mana 5/5 kill a thing, draw 2 is probably okay.
No, it's really not. Like, it's an elemental. If you're wanting something like this in an elemental deck,
you have better draw.
Well, or you don't have better draw, but you don't want to pay 7 for something because you're hoping to end the game around now.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I mean,
soon.
there are times as an elemental deck where you're top decking, and this would get you back in the game, but it's still like. But then if you draw it earlier, it makes you less likely to win earlier because you have this clunky card in your hand you can't play in the early game. So
yeah, I don't know. I see this as it could have been printed at 5/5 and like be okay, you know.
Yeah.
Like we've had better card draw than this in elemental mages.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 7 mana to draw, even 3 is a lot. Because you're not using those cards that turn. And if you're getting a lot of card draw out of it, you might not have the hand space to use it. And yeah,
it's competing with Blazing Accretion, which is 3 mana draw 3, you know, on a 3/1. But still. Burn Down, right? Which is actually, honestly, Burn Down doesn't even make the cut anymore because we've got Conjured Bookkeeper. Draw a spell, Death Rattle, draw a spell, Kindred, summon a copy, right? And it's an elemental. Like, Elemental Mage is already not like super suffering for draw, and this feels like the worst option alongside the elementals and fire spells, where Smoldering Grove, right? 2 mana, draw a card, upgrades each turn, but discards after 3. Like,
yeah.
I'm interested in all of the other available options before this.
The only thing that we haven't talked about in the set is the other legendary, which is Time Looper Toki. And Time Looper Toki is something. 4 mana 4/4, Battle Cry, get 4 random spells for the past. When you've played all 4, get another Time Looper Toki.
I wish this also said Arcane so that it would be
sure,
like, just to narrow the pool. I don't even think it would make it into the other deck necessarily, but yeah, for red, there's some fairly unplayable spells in the past.
Yeah. What was the one from Druid that makes you dump your hand, like, and gives you 10 mana crystals? Like,
oh yeah, Celestial Alignment.
Yeah, I don't know how the timing works with this, but that would be pretty bad. Certainly, you would have to make that the last spell, and if this goes in your hand before that finish was resolving,
yeah, it's like, it's cool. I think it'll be really fun to get an arena.
Sure.
And
yeah,
and not so good in standard. Like, I don't think there's ever a world where you
I mean,
do this.
There are some spells that are literally unplayable, like Deadly Poison.
Mm-hmm.
Could just end up being literally unplayable, right? I don't know. I don't remember if Deadly Poison is in the past or not. I don't know what Deadly Poison status is, but like, that's sort of a thing, right? Where you have to have a weapon to target and you can't play it without. Like there's
Yeah.
a non-trivial number of those kinds of things in the general random spell pool that could just like, okay, I got 3 spells and I'm done because I can't play the 4th one.
Like,
Or like expensive things that are not made for your deck, like Jewel of Inzoth is an 8-mana hunter spell that says summon 3 friendly Death Rattle minions that died this game.
Uh-huh.
Which also, if you don't have any Death Rattles, may not be playable.
Right. This should be questionable enough if it was just 4 random mage spells from the past.
Yeah.
Right? Because mage has a lot of spells.
Or even discover. Even discover 4 spells from the past, which would be main spells. That even would be... It would be better, but it would be... There's still a pretty wide pool, and there's some pretty bad mage spells.
I mean,
Discover
you have to...
would reach a point where I think you could very consistently loop it forever. How good that would be, I don't know. Like, it would still be sort of questionable, but I think it would be maybe more playable than they wanted this card to be.
You're not trying to loop it. Loop it is a bonus. Loop it is like,
yeah, that's
kind of
fair.
cool.
Yeah,
you
but
get
you
to
want,
say
like,
that you did it.
You still want spells that do something, right?
Yeah,
like,
but
like
what I'm saying is, like, if it was Discover, that would actually be good, because then you're discovering more spells.
yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
like we introduced Rewind in this set. Why is Rewind not on this card?
Yeah.
With this wide of a pool, this seems like a perfect Rewind card.
You know why? Because it wouldn't fit on the card.
Probably. That's one more line of text. Yeah.
Well, it's one more word and keyword, right? Like the text box is already pretty full. I guess they've fit larger things on before, but it does seem pretty tight.
Actually, I think I found one of the worst ones. Anything can happen.
Yeah, 10 mana,
Yeah.
do nothing.
I'm still mad, like almost 10 years later, when Maureen made me draft that first pick in Arena, and then we never got another Murloc. I think we got like one the rest of the run. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. I mean, everything is awesome would be better than that. But yeah, I just like saying that, except that it took me 3 tries to say it. But yeah, it's like, this is a fun card. I'm glad it exists. You will see it off of Marin for the next couple months occasionally, and it will probably be very fun off of that. Or from Grifta's get 3 random legendaries thing. I don't know that we're putting this in a deck though.
I'm sure someone will, but yeah, not
I mean,
super competitive.
There's a time and a place for everything, and it's called pre-release brawl. So
there is a worse card though in Mage.
Did we miss one?
Anomalize.
Oh no, we talked about Anomalize already.
Oh,
yeah.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good.
It is worse. Yes. It is bad.
This is why it was so quick, right? It's
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We said it's an arcane spell that you're not playing, so let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also there's semi-stable portal, which was revealed on day 1, so we don't need to talk about it again, but just for completeness.
Yep.
Okay.
Well.
That'll do it for Mage. Last but not least, we have Warlock. Edel, do you want to tell us about Warlock?
So, Warlock has got people all kinds of excited because Warlock's fabled card is Rafaam. And Rafaam says, fabled plus. Why plus? Well, because instead of adding a mere 2 cards, Rafaam adds another 9 cards in addition to himself. This is Time Thief Rafaam. 10 mana, 10/10. Your deck size is 40, but has 10 Rafaams! Exclamation point. Battlecry, if you've played the rest, destroy the enemy hero. Now, we love that text, destroy the enemy hero. That is cool. There's no, I don't care if your hero's immune, right? They blow up. It's great. The Rafaams are impressively playable. You got, there's one for 1 through 9 mana cost, right? So including Time Thief Rafaam, you hit all the mana costs. So you auto have completed Elise's requirement.
Yay!
Which is kind of cool.
Yes.
And yeah, you got Tiny Rafaam, Death Rattle, Draw a Rafaam, Green Rafaam. Sorry, and they're all number stats, right? So
yeah.
so 1 mana 1/1, 2 mana 2/2, 3 mana, right? So green Rafaam, 2 mana 2/2, battle cry, give Rafaams in your hand, +2/+2. Murloc Rafaam. The next Rafaam you play costs 3 less. Explorer Rafaam, discover a Rafaam from your deck as a battle cry. War Chief Rafaam, and I'm just increasing by 1 mana cost and +1/+1 stats each time here. So War Chief Rafaam, 5 mana 5/5, battle cry, gain 5 armor. If you control another Rafaam, gain 5 more. Calamitous Rafaam, battle cry, deals 6 damage to all minions that aren't Rafaam. Mind Flayer Rafaam. Taunt, if you're holding another Rafaam, summon a copy of this. Reminds me of like a modern Twin Emperor Veclore, right? For the Cthulhu decks, right? Which was
why is it R''FAAM on this one? Is it just because the name is too long? Like why are we introducing the apostrophe there? That's bothering me.
I don't know. That is weird. I assume there is a reason, but
maybe somehow Mind Flayers, like it goes with the.
I guess
maybe it's some sort of like WoW lore nonsense type of thing. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and then Giant Rafaam, of course, is the 8. There's a lot of like aesthetically and thematically pleasing things going on with the like mana cost stats and effect thing, right? Like you'll notice the discount one on the 3 is a discount by 3. The armor on the 5 is 5 armor. The damage to minions on the 6 is 6 damage. And then the 8 cost, which 8/8 is the stats of a giant Rafaam, 8 mana, rush, costs 1 less for each Rafaam you've played this game. And then Archmage Rafaam, 9 mana 9/9, battle cry, transform all minions that aren't Rafaam into 1/1 sheep. And I believe there was like one of the rods in when like very first Rafaam turned everything into a sheep. So I think it kind of harkens back to that.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh,
I like that some of these.
But no, you didn't say the most important part, which is that the sheep is named Bafam.
That's true. Yes. and has special art. Yeah, it's
is a mummy. Yes, it
quite
is
good.
Delightful. Yes.
Yeah. I think like this package is as good as it could be. Like if you go and look at these, which I'm sure you'll have to because remembering 10 new cards in a single card is a lot. Like none of them do I look at them and say, that's kind of terrible to play.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe the Explorer because it's 4 mana 4/4 battle cry, discover Rafaam from your deck. But like we play Xavius.
Yeah.
All of the other ones are like good effects, defensive effects, right? And this is going to be a very defensive deck. It's like stuff is either like discount or draw or control. Like they're all different things that you want.
The cheap ones get you more Rafaams. The more expensive ones help you not die, and that's kind of what you want, right? Like on the early turns, it gives you something to do to get you more Rafaams, and then on the more expensive ones help you control the board so that you're not dying, so you can actually do all of this.
Right, and you're Warlock, so you can tap. Honestly, you probably won't even have to tap because there's a Rafaam Ladder. 4-cost spell, draw 3 cards of different costs. Which is not always going to be Rafaam, of course, but it's 4 mana, draw 3. That's pretty solid.
Unless you could somehow make your entire deck wisps.
Yeah, there was a huge thread from Leo, who was originally the lead set designer of this before he moved over to Overwatch.
Oh, this does seem like a Leo joint. Yes, this seems like a parting package from Leo for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, he says, finally, it's kind of poetic that one of the final cards revealed for the last set I led is the one I'm most proud of. Smile face with tear. Time for a big thread talking about this card because I love it so much. I probably shouldn't read this whole thing because it's like a 9-thread, 10-thread thing here that Dawn in our Discord very helpfully copied out. But he says one of the most popular tropes for time travel is seeing alternate versions of characters, We have seen this already with some of the other Fabled, but Rafaam is where it's juiced up to 11. I remember pitching the idea of a deck full of Rafaams and people laughing at me. We really tried to keep most of this set very, quote, real in the sense that everything needs to feel authentically 100% Warcraft, but this is still Hearthstone, and Rafaam as a character is extremely silly. So this felt like a good place to hyper-focus on that ridiculousness. This Time Thief Rafaam is from an alternate timeline where instead of trying to steal the Staff of Origination, he wanted to steal the Hourglass of Time. Not only did he want to, he actually did it and gained the immeasurable power of time control, and began his plan to recruit every version of himself from every timeline to take over the Timeways for himself. And then, of course, Chromie runs into him and manages to recruit him because otherwise there'd be nothing left for him to rule. And there is... like, where all of these come from. I mean, it's basically like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
It's like...
yeah, that's basically what it is.
Deadpool and Wolverine. I think, all the Deadpools, or all the Spider-Men. Tiny. He's just tiny. Small even. Teeny tiny. Whittle. Green. Everything in his timeline is green. Murloc comes from a timeline where everyone is a Murloc. Explorer. In his timeline, the League of Explorers are evil and the League of Evil are good. War Chief, leader of the Horde, Calamitous, serves Sargeras as a demon, but doesn't follow orders. Mind Flayer, faceless, but not mouthless. He is still just as loud as ever. Giant, from the Handlock timeline where everyone plays Mountain Giant on turn 3. Archmage, she's probably the second strongest of all the Rafaams, having successfully stolen Dalaran. And Bafam, look at him! So yeah, that's the whole thread. I probably took too long on that, but Leo's entertaining, so.
And like, this is... probably, this could legitimately be viable. Like, I know this looks like a meme, but this is Stormwind Quest Priest. That is what this is, right?
But
with a big butt, yes, with a huge butt attached. I'm getting there, but this is what Stormwind Quest Priest asked you to do, was play cards 1 through 8, and then a 9-drop that put the 10-drop in your deck that you would have to draw, right? So, and then when you play the 10-drop, then you win the game after you've done all that. That is what the Quest Priest did, and it only worked when you had 40 cards in it, because I saw some people saying, well, it makes you put an extra 10 cards to your deck. It literally only worked when you had an extra 10 cards, because you didn't have enough room. That said, the fact that this says played and not summoned means that one rat ruins your entire game plan.
yes.
Forever. Or burning one of them just wrecks your life.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to call that an oversight, but it does feel
Fragile?
like a little bad, right? Because basically it means that if this is going to be popular, it's going to be. It feels like it will be prevented from being good because everyone will start running Dirty Rats as soon as this is popular. It is potentially much easier to get a hit that turns off their win condition than in any other deck that we've seen.
Well,
before.
I mean, because you just have to hit like 1/4 of the deck. Like, you have a 25% chance to get anything, and it is like, I will say that this is probably enough of a control deck that, like, against some decks you won't need to do this.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So
I mean, I think you get a lot of wins by just doing the control game.
But the decks where you are going to get ratted are the decks that you're going to need to be able to play Time Thief Rafaam with the Battlecry live, and those are going to be very sad games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about, like, you could, like, run a Brewmaster to put it back, but not if they already killed it, which, of course, they will try to, like...
Yeah,
like...
Or if they start, making you overdraw, right?
Or they just run ham.
So, like, you have to be really careful to even be thinking about things like Grifta, right? Because, like, if you leave yourself with 9 cards in hand, and then they Grifta, and they put a card in your hand, you burn a Rafaam, you're done, right? So it's even more important when a quarter of your deck is vulnerable. It's a big problem that you need to be playing really defensively about the cards in your hand to play around that. And Dirty Rat, you just can't.
I mean, it feels a little bit like And it's only one fabled card out of this whole expansion. There's other cool stuff going on in Warlock that we'll talk about soon. But when we had Reno hero poofing starships, and it was like, this feels bad because but
I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up changing this to summoned, right? Because you still have the actual 10 drop being vulnerable to the dirty rat.
Right. That would be a normal amount of vulnerability. And still more so, right? Because at no point can someone play I guess you wouldn't have to, you don't have to play them in order, right? That would be insane. But, like, you can track which ones they've played and know, like, okay, it's coming. And unless they're playing Ysera, they can't play even the 1 cost and Time Thief Rafaam in the same turn. So,
yeah, I mean, that's it. And also, like, if they've played like 7 of them, they're probably going to play any of the rest of them in the late game as soon as they draw them. So you can probably get a read that the 10 drop might be in hand, because that's the one that they're not going to play. Because all the rest of them are probably, I mean, you want to, like, Archmage Rafaam, you're probably going to be looking for a good time to drop her. But it also means that, like, you can play a 9 drop. Because that's the other problem, is that you need to be able to play a 9. Like, the 9 drop in Quest Priest was like Whirlpool. Or 8 drop rather was Whirlpool, because that was the only way that you could play something like that safely, was that it was clearing the board. But you know, the rest of them, you're probably just dropping them whenever you get them, whenever it makes sense, and you're not really, like, if you get some value out of it, great. But the 10 drop's the only one that's going to be left in hand, so you can probably get a read late game. But yeah, the fact that it's played and not summoned is going to make this pretty rough, and I wouldn't be surprised if they change that.
Yeah. If they don't intend to change that, then I would hope that they remove Dirty Rat from core next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we likely will see one or the other. I don't know. Because people are going to want to make this work. People are definitely, it's very cool.
Yeah. And I feel like it is going to take so long for them to play all the stuff, right? Cycle through their deck, get all their Rafaams, play all of them, and then play Time Thief Rafaam. I'm okay with it not being Dirty Ratable. I'm okay if they rotate Dirty Rat, right? Like, they put in the time. If they have survived that whole time, congratulations. Right? Like, this is not the kind of thing that I feel needs to be disruptible by Dirty Rat, right?
It's just putting a clock on the game. Like, this game has gone on long enough, and it is going to end now, one way or the other. And I'd much
rather this than Kil'jaeden.
Yes, agreed.
Yes,
100%.
Well, and after rotation, we won't have, like, Colossus Mage, right? And, like, they might print new stuff, but I think if we're seeing the OTK Dragon Mage, that's slower than Protoss.
Yes. The Aulonius is going to be the fastest OTK, and we'll see how long it lasts. But
and like, Stormwind Quest Priest was one of my favorite control decks, right? Because it did have a win condition. It was very slow, and it was disruptible sometimes, but, like, it meant that you had a way to just, okay, I have controlled the game long enough, and we are done now.
Yeah.
And that's basically what that means, because it took, like, you could turbo it, but that didn't happen very often. And, like, I think maybe I completed it on 10 once, and, like, but we've gone 15, 20 turns, you haven't killed me, and you've let me play expensive cards, and now the game is over because you had enough time to kill me. And I think that's fine for a control deck to have a win con like that. It's not like you're turboing out to a win con on, like, turn 6, and now the game is over. Like, you had plenty of time to kill the person who's playing that deck.
Also, it is hilariously countered by Husk.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because where will keep trying, Rafaam has the one time and destroys the enemy hero, and they death rattle summon.
Well,
with up to 20 health.
If Husk is that popular, then you start running pandas, right?
But it's 10 mana.
Well,
yeah, you run
Ysera's
Ysera,
in the
it's
same.
fine. Yeah.
The same standard year. Yep.
Yeah.
Listen,
we'll see.
I will not be deterred. Like, there are ways to make this happen. I mean, just at a certain point, when you start running that many bad cards in the deck, then you start having trouble getting your game plan together. But that's neither here nor there. But
Actually,
you play Divergence first to split that Rafaam into two.
There it is.
There
Yep.
we did it, chat. There we go.
Yeah.
We had the same realization at the same moment. I
Yeah.
was like, wait, Divergence. You wait till that's the only minion, and then you play Divergence. Which we had already talked about. But we've also got some like aggressive pain type stuff going on.
Yeah,
in this
some
set.
some just unconditionally good cards. I like so yeah, basically the rest of Warlock is devoted to this new mechanic called Shreds of Time, where there are a number of these cards. Shuffle 2 Shreds of Time into your deck. A Shreds of Time set is 0 mana, which is important. Cast when drawn, deal 3 damage to your hero, right? So it's like Pain Lock on a delay. But still doing stuff that Pain Lock does, such as giving you a 2 mana 4/4, which is an oversetted 4/4. But you know, it shuffles 2 Shreds of Time into your deck. Tachyon Barrage, 2 mana, deals 6 damage split among all enemies. Shuffle 2 Shreds of Time into your deck. Entropic Continuity, 1 mana, give your minions +1/+1. Shuffle 2 Shreds of Time into your deck. And then the payoff stuff. This is reverse soul whatever.
Soul
Demon
Fragments.
Hunter. Soul Fragment Demon Hunter. Or I guess Soul Fragments was in Warlock too. But yeah, instead of a thing that heals you, it's a thing that hurts you. Fate Breaker, 4 mana 4/4 dragon, lifesteal, Battlecry, cast a Shred of Time from your deck. So casting it, you will take the 3 damage. But then it gains +3/+3. So you take 3 damage to get a 4 mana 7/7 lifesteal.
Seems good. 4 mana 7/7. Those are always good. Yeah.
Yep. And then Ruinous Velocidrake, 5 mana 5/5 dragon with Rush. Battlecry, cast a Shred of Time from your deck to summon a copy of this. So if anyone remembers Oasis Surger from
Oh man, that's a throwback.
Druid,
Yeah.
which was a choose one where it was a 5 mana 3/3 rush, and the choose one was give it +2/+2 or summon a copy. But of course, you played this in that quest.
Stormwind
Was it
Quest.
Quest
Druid.
Line?
No, not
Yes.
not Stormwind. Ungoro. Not
No.
Ungoro. Uldum?
Will
Saviors
do?
of Uldum?
Maybe. I don't know. One of them. This Druid quest said, if you have excess mana on 4 separate turns when you end your turn, right? Then you complete the quest, and for the rest of the game, all your choose one effects happen. You get both. So it was always a 5 mana.
It was summoned 2
rush, summon a
5/5s.
copy.
Yeah.
Like-
and it was very good. It was the reason,
was
one of the
very
reasons
good.
to play that deck.
Yeah. Similarly, this will be quite good.
Yeah. We have someone in the chat pointing out the Shred of Time will also draw you a card.
Yeah, because it casts when drawn. Yeah.
So you're taking 3 damage, but then you're drawing a card, presumably.
Which it does also make me wonder how this other card, this legendary Chronogore, which doesn't specifically say that it's a Shreds of Time card, but it's got some synergy here. 6 mana, 6/7, also a dragon. So lots of dragons here for Warlock. Battlecry, you draw your 2 highest cost cards. Your opponent draws your 2 lowest cost cards. So if you are doing Shreds of Time, your opponent will draw 2 Shreds of Time and take 6.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will then, similar question, cast when drawn and get to draw 2 cards from their deck. That would be a little weird.
Or
But
do you draw 4 because they're drawn from your deck? I don't. That's a silly.
I
thought.
don't know.
But yeah.
if it's you draw 4, this is even better than I realized.
Yeah.
But I think regardless, for a Shreds of Time deck, this is a pretty solid top end where just like you draw your 2 highest cost. Maybe that is the Velocidrakes, right? And deal 6 damage to the opponent for your trouble.
The only downside to this is that you can't run Cursed Catacombs in this deck because that's a 0-cost card, and you don't want to give that to your opponent. I mean, you can, but you probably don't want to.
I don't know if you care. That's it's one thing. It's legendary. You might not see it, and Cursed Catacombs is like good enough to run anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's just solid. And when you consider that Warlock still has like other pain cards, you've got Infernal, right? Set your hero's remaining health to 15 if you're dealing enough damage to yourself.
There's the one that gets bigger with the amount of damage that you took that turn.
The
Right.
flame juggler of some sort.
Yeah.
Fearless flame juggler. There's
Malefic Rook.
Hellstone could heal you back up.
Yep.
Mhm.
You could also just do a swarm approach because we have that entropic continuity, and you can play like the devious the entropic continuity being the one that gives your minions +1/+1. We have devious coyote, which like that plus the tachyon barrage, like swarms plus tachyon barrage means like devious coyote is always 0.
Yeah, that's actually just insane.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing Zoo with this, right? Like, almost certainly you're playing like Zoo / Painlock with this. Like, it's going to be a very aggressive build of the deck.
Yeah.
There's even a card, Employee, gives a minion lifesteal.
Employee of the month, yeah.
Employee of the month. If you're worried about health, like one thing you could do is like play that and just give your Ruinous Velocidrake lifesteal. It'll only be half of it, but that's okay. Or there's lots of other ways to like heal up a little bit, or maybe you don't care because they're just dead the way we used to do Pain Warlock.
Yeah. I mean, Flame Imp and Vulgar Homunculus, right, are still like solid overstatted cards.
Yeah.
Malefic Rook. Like I think it just kind of comes together as a nice like my stuff is bigger than yours sort of deck. And with these great stabilization tools as like payoffs for the shreds. And then not strictly related, but maybe still goes in. Bygone Doomspeaker, 3-mana 3/3 Battlecry. Both players discard a random card, and it's got rewind, and is going to annoy the heck out of people.
Yep, sure is.
Including Rafaam players.
Yes.
And guess what? If your hand is empty, then you don't have to rewind it because you're never going to discard anything.
Yeah.
Well, you rewind it if you missed what you want them to discard, but
yeah, I guess.
Party Planner Vona has never seen play, but it might with all.
Is that the Ouroboros card?
It is.
Yeah.
6 mana 4/4 Battlecry. If you've taken 8 damage on your turns, summon Ouroboros, which has the death rattle. It's an 8 mana 8/8 taunt. Death rattle. Give a minion in your hand. Death rattle. Summon Ouroboros. So like.
And Chronogor will draw that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you could do a little bit of a dragon thing with like Gift-Wrap Whelp and Petal Peddler because all these things are dragons. You can play like Whelp of the Bronze for a little healing.
Yeah,
this,
absolutely.
by the way, credit to World 8 for that idea. There's like, I'm excited. Right now I only have one of these in the theory crafting, but I'm definitely going to have more by the time we go in tomorrow. I don't know exactly when I'm doing that because I'm going to have like work and then a run and then do this. And I'm actually hiding out at my husband's office because I need a PC to do the theory crafting and I don't have a PC at home. But he was like, don't worry, it's pretty empty tomorrow. I'll save my office for you. You can just... So I'm very grateful that I am saved. So I didn't realize until like earlier today that I couldn't do it on a Mac. And
Yeah,
was
that was a nasty surprise. So, and it's never occurred to me because usually it's me and I just do it on a PC. So
I do get it if there's something that's harder to make it on Mac than like for just this event where every streamer has a PC. Why would they bother? Like I get it, but I didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it either. So.
Yeah, but anyway, we should be good. I'm gonna make sure we get that set up today.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's all the cards. So, you'll be hearing this after the theory crafting. But if you were not able to join us, definitely check out the VODs. I'll be doing the casting thing on the main channel again. And we will get back to you with how that went on next week's show, and then the following week, I believe, is the launch. So
Yep.
Yeah. So we have many folks we'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at concede.com. You can also find our contact info, our show notes, and our Patreon information. You can monetarily support our show at patreon.com/coinconcede. Follow us on Blue Sky at CoinConcede. Write into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch at twitch.coinconcede.com. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.coinconcede.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/@coinconcede. And if you'd like some CC swag, head over to our shop someday soon, shop.coinconcede.com.
First Coin Concede to Shadow Avian for winning the Coin Concede Listener Series for The Lost City of Ngoro. Especially impressive as it was their first time in the Coin Concede Listener Series, and they won the whole thing. Congratulations. They have the special Listener Series champion color Discord role. And also, congratulations to everyone who played and to the top 8 for a really fun series. Also, Coin Concede to everybody on YouTube. I was behind on getting out the episode this time, so thank you for your patience. Some things came up on Sunday when I would normally do it, and then Monday, Amazon Web Services was down, and it turns out that our podcast software depends on that, like, many other things in the world. And then Tuesday is just not a day when I have any time to myself. So it is
But
up.
Friday, I'm in love.
So thank you for your patience for anyone who was waiting on that. Meanwhile, Edel was so on top of it this past week. It was out
Yeah.
Wow. So on
The
top
audio
of it. I
version.
did it Saturday night instead of Sunday morning.
I was able to put out the show before I left for Commander, so that was an unexpected surprise. So
One day I will get it just into my pattern to actually take care of on Friday, which is when I should be doing it during Leah's nap. But
That's when I should be doing the video too. But you can also listen to the raw audio by becoming a Patreon on Patreon.
Exactly. This has been the excuse, right? Is we're generating more value for our patrons. Yeah.
So going forward, you'll text Megasa when Leah goes down for her nap, so that
she can edit the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to coin concede to my TTRPG group. I should just accept that, I should call it the D&D group, even though we're not playing D&D, but I'm always like, no, I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
It's like every tissue is a Kleenex, it's
Right,
the same thing.
Yeah. Because they were very good sports about the final session for this campaign. I still have to write an epilogue and send it to everyone. We'll roleplay some of it, but I tried to do a very big battle, and I did it what I think is sort of the fastest and best way for trying to really play it all out before I realized a game mechanic that I knew about that would have just been such a better idea. Essentially, there were 3 fronts of this fight, and they had gathered a bunch of allies. And so what I did was I gave everyone stat blocks so they could play some of the allies, right, and be doing something on every front of the battle and feel like they're getting the payoff of having recruited all these allies. But then the main party were themselves, apart from throwing out some big high level spells to assist the allies, were primarily fighting in a place in the center of the city. The problem is that when you're dealing with forces of the hundreds, I worked out a simplified calculation so that everything would still be one roll, but for a group of units, and the math was simplified to calculate the damage and how many deaths took place and all these things. But I still was using a calculator every time, and going as fast as possible. What I should have done is just said, hey, due to how many allies you got, here is the clock, right? And it is, this amount big is how much time you have to focus on the fight where your characters are. And And depending on your actions of like, if you want to cast a spell to help your allies to, keep the clock from going down, and if it goes down, then your allies have lost, and the enemy forces are going to be making their way towards you or something. And I realized that when I was talking with my brother after the fact. But I had never run a large-scale battle for a TTRPG before, and so I hadn't really thought it through completely.
Now you have, and now you have that idea. Pathfinder 1e, of course, has rules for like everything. So there's like a mass combat rules that I never really got into, but I know some friends of mine who did. But Pathfinder 1e also tends to be very fiddly, so having a clock is probably a better idea.
I got thrown, I think, by the fact that there are a number of high-level spells in Shadow of the Weird Wizard that really incentivize, like, letting players just murk a bunch of enemies. Like, it'll say, within a size 20 area, all enemies with 40 health, which is the max or less, are turned into greasy ash. Right, and it's just like that just happens.
That's an unnecessary detail,
right? This is like
I gotta say, now I'm more interested in playing this game.
This is like an invocation, right? Like a divine magic spell. So it's got these things where it's like, well, it's encouraging that like by this point, like you're still maybe going to face large groups of enemies, but you get to just show how powerful you are by they are meaningless and not actually what you're really fighting, but will use up one of your spells, right? If you want to be able to do that. One of my players cast a meteor, right, and it busted open the wall so that their forces could get in. There's a lot of crazy spells in Shadow of the Weird Wizard, but I think I could have just said, okay, you can do these things, they will be really cool, we will narrate how they're really cool, and they will affect the clock. Because that's the Daggerheart way, which is probably the game we're going to do next.
I'm going to coin concede to Twin B because the reason that I am going to be late to theory crafting is because she is getting inducted into the Computer Science National Honor Society tomorrow, which is theory crafting is important, but that is more important. So, but really proud of her. And, especially, following in her old man's footsteps. So, so hopefully that is worth all of the, she was complaining to me about Booleans yesterday. And I said, boy, kid, if this is what you're complaining about, you just wait until you learn about regular expressions. She said, what's regular expressions? I said, go Google it. And she said, oh my God, what the hell is this? And I said, exactly. And you use this? Oh, all the time. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the regular expression on her face was priceless. I'll tell you that much. So, yeah. But, we're really, really proud of her. So, it is worth being a little bit late to theory crafting this time around. And that's going to do it for us. So, until next time, keep calm and don't run out of time. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
All life must end. I yield for now. I concede. Well fought. I concede.
You win this one.
The victory is yours.
You have bested me.
I give up.
You win this one, friend. You win this time. I choose death.